Alright, good evening everybody. I hope we're all doing well. My name is Luke Davis from Agape Media, and it's such a beautiful evening. And once again, we are here, and today we are going to learn something very interesting. In our past classes, we've been learning a lot of vector graphics, and today, without wasting time, we are diving straight into what we call raster graphics. So, if at all you have not been able to read the notes, I'm sure you may be finding these terms a little bit new. But when we talk of raster graphics, we are simply meaning the pixel graphics, and we shall be using Photoshop. So tonight I want us to use Adobe Photoshop CS6. I have two copies of Photoshop. I have CS6, that's 20, and then I have Adobe Photoshop 2021, the latest version. But I don't want to use that CC 2021 because it's so complex that it's not good for beginners. But today we shall be able to answer very many questions that so many people have been asking. So I'm sure you can see these tools on the sides. Sorry about that. Okay. Okay, whatever it is. Now, these tools are similar to the ones that we had in Illustrator. There are a few new ones, but we shall be talking about them as we go on. I don't like introducing everything one by one, and yet it's a waste of time. So I'm not going to waste your time, but during your free time, you can go ahead and check. We said whenever you hover the mouse on top of it, it will bring the name. So we have the move tool, this is the rectangular macro tool, we have the lasso tool, the quick selection tool. And remember we said whenever you see this white indicator here, this one at the corner, it means there are some other options down, so you can click on all so that those options down can reveal. So ladies and gentlemen, without wasting time, let us do some actual editing. Now, this is a photo of me, and I've opened it in Adobe Photoshop, which is a raster graphics or pixel graphics. It's very good for editing photos. This software is good for editing photos, but you can also use it for graphics design. You can design graphics because you have the text tool here, you have the shapes this side. You can see all these shapes, they're there also in Illustrator. So you can do everything that we did in Illustrator, you can also do it here. But I always prefer using Illustrator for designing posters and what, because there you have other options or more options than here. But in case you want to work with photos or do a poster from this side, it's also okay. You can just apply the same tools we learned from there, but just a few more things that I'm going to add. And today, the first thing I want to start with is the quick selection tool. People have been asking, I want to do a poster, but I don't know how to remove the background from the foreground. So without wasting time, I'm going to introduce that. So there are many ways of importing a photo. You can start by dragging the photo. Let's say we're going to deal with this photo. Okay, so you just click it, you drag onto Photoshop. Now when you bring it here, it will be added onto this photo, but you want to open another page of its own, so you bring it up here until it brings that word copy. It means it will open it as a new document, so it will be a photo document. Or else you can just come to file, the new, no, sorry, not new, because when you come to new, it will open for you a blank artboard like this. So this is the artboard that you'll open, but we're not interested in designing graphics because we said we could do some graphics design here, according to the way we want, in any way we want, the same way we did it the other side. We could do everything this side, but that's not what we're interested in. We are interested in dealing with a photo tonight. So let's just look at a few tips. Now, we're going to remove the background of this photo. It's a photo of me long ago. I can imagine how I used to look. But anyway, let's forget about that. Shortcuts, the same shortcuts we had in Illustrator also works here. So Control Plus, it still works here to zoom. Yeah, so we are interested in removing the background. Now, I'm going to introduce you to two different tools that you can easily use. And the first one is what we call the quick selection tool. It's the third tool, as you can see. Remember this arrow, we said when you click it, it will make this one to appear in two lines. If you click it again, it will make it appear in one line. I prefer when it's in one line, so I can easily say number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4. So it's the fourth tool. This is the quick selection tool. Once you select it, you'll have this one with a plus, then another one with a minus. With the plus means you're adding a selection. With the minus, you're removing the selection. This one is the radius. So you can always click and change the radius, the size of your selector, okay? You can always adjust on that, but it's good to start with a smaller value. So using the quick selection tool, you can come and click on plus with the radius, which is slightly big, and you can zoom your photo a little bit. Then you can just go ahead and click plus. You can see it's selecting the photo. Very simple, okay? Just go ahead and click on every part that you want to appear. Yeah. Sometimes you may need to drag so that it doesn't waste your time. Now, if your computer is slow, it's going to take a much more time to process. like mine is low. Okay, but if you're using high-end computers, that should not be a hard time. I have a very good software here that that is CC2021. It's really so good, but it refused to run on this very computer I'm using. And then, yet the computer I use for graphics refused to accept the microphone or the recording system. So that is the challenge I'm facing. If I'm to use the better one, it means you guys will not be able to hear what I'm saying. So just bear with me that this desktop has accepted the microphone system or the recording system. So that is it. So what we are doing here, we are literally just selecting. We make the selection. We are using the plus one to do that, and we're using the same radius. So just make sure you select every part that you want. Okay. If you can't see properly, you can zoom, then you can click on H for the Undo tool, then you drag it using the Undo tool, or then you can go back to the quick selection tool again and select such parts. Okay. Right. Okay. So I think there it's done. Up here it's also done. All right. Very simple and interesting. We can add something there. Okay. All right. We can also add this point was left out. All right. Now we realize that this part has also been selected, but it's not supposed to be selected. So we remove. We go to minus, then you click it. Yeah. Very simple. So we can now reduce on the size to check it up. I think we can see now we have selected the entire body. So when you're using CS6, definitely after making your selection, up here you already see this point written, refine edge. Very simple, no need to waste time. So you can just come and click on refine edge, please. Once you're still on the quick selection tool, you will see the refine edge. But if you don't want to pick this refine edge, it's the same as going to select, then refine edge. So in case you're not seeing it, you can still come to select, then refine edge. It's the same thing. So we are interested in refine edge, so we click on that. We want to refine its edge. Now, let me zoom a little bit. You can see it has painted the background a little bit red, or is that red or orange, whatever it is. Now you can change the color it paints from here. Okay, you can click on this drop cap, then it's under overlay. When you click on black and white, you can see now you can be able to see your selection. So you can choose to see now without the background. This is how it would look, but I would strictly advise you choose overlay. For now, choose overlay. After choosing overlay, go ahead and select show radius. Okay, then go ahead and select smart radius. Then you adjust this radius to any value. This is at 0, you don't see anything, but adjust it in a way that you can see some lines being drawn at the edges of your selection. So let me zoom this a little bit so that you can see. Now this is what I was trying to mean. Adjust the radius. I think for me, I don't 8 there, it works. So now you have to do, after now you've selected the radius, you can go ahead and remove show radius. Okay, you can remove it now. Now you see part of the hair, it's painted overlay. It means it's not showing, but we want it to show. So you just have to do what you have to do is just brush. Okay, we are still here. Let me zoom it more. So now the brush tool is already selected. Just come here and start brushing where the hair is. After brushing, you'll see the hair coming back. Okay, so just brush it. Okay, very simple. Everyone can do that. So just brush the hair. Just brush every hair. This is common when you're dealing with photos of ladies. You know, ladies have those funny hairs. Sorry about that. But anyway, still you have to brush so that you can let their hair show. So if you don't brush, it will be a sharp selection. So that is it. Let me remove this. Okay. All right. Just go ahead and continue brushing around the hair and the edges so that the hair is selected. Let me zoom it out a little bit. Use the Undo tool here and continue brushing, because here I'm seeing it's not yet brushed. Okay, it's supposed to be overlay. Okay, so brush tool, okay, it's here. Just continue brushing around the hair. Okay. Okay. Just brush at the edges, please. You try to be careful because you want the hair out, which is at the edges, to show. So I think that's enough. And also here we can here we brush minus, we remove because there is painting, or there's an overlay around there. Then also it's common around the eyebrows. So let me use hand tool. When you're looking for the hand tool, it's down here, but you can use the shortcut of H. So around the hair, these eyebrows rather, we also brush it because we don't want to be lost. So once you're done with that, just make sure this part written decontaminate colors, make sure it is selected. Okay, so select decontaminate colors. Okay, decontaminate colors, it allows you to remove color fringe from the image, color fringes, yeah. So you have to do that. Once you select decontaminate colors, it will output it to a new layer with mask. So you go ahead and click OK. All right, now we can zoom out so you can see this is our photo. It has no background. We have two layers. We have the background copy, which is the foreground, so we can rename it as foreground. Then this one is background. So this icon here, it allows us to see. So this is the background, this is the foreground, so we can unsee or hide it. Okay, so you can see this is our photo without the background. So if we want to save this photo without the background, for us to use it in Illustrator or in another software, because we can also use it in Premiere Pro for video editors, all you have to do is to save this photo without, you disable this background, you disable it, and then you go ahead and save it. Or you can even delete it. Just click delete, then the background will disappear. Now you have only the foreground without the background. So once you save this photo without this background, you can use it. Now, or else if you want to create another color background, you can now choose. You see these shapes down, you can choose any shape, but I would prefer rectangle. Then you can draw a rectangle all over the photo, like that. But then you have to arrange. You can see from these layers here, from this side, the rectangle is in front, so you bring the rectangle under so that it can be behind. So you see it is white because the rectangle is painted white, but we can change the color, the fill, to black for a black rectangle, to blue, to red, to whatever color. Now this is us changing the color of our background. Okay, this is us changing the color of our background. I think I love this color. So this, it means now we're having a background with a distinct color, like we can tell the color. But if we want it strictly without background, we can just go ahead, we make sure the rectangle is not there. Okay, we delete the rectangle so that we remain with only the foreground. Then we come to file, then save as. We want to save this photo. If you want to save this photo without a background, you have to save it under format. You select PNG. That's the only format that will allow your photo to come without the background. If you select JPEG, it will come with the background. Please, I repeat, if you want to save your photo without the background for you to use it in Illustrator, you can go ahead to go to file, then save as, then the format, select it to PNG. Then you can give a name. Let's call it look 2020. Was that 2020? Even whatever it is. So let's say it was 2020. We'll go ahead and click save. So our photo will be saved. So we can choose slowest, that's slow, smallest, slow. Yeah, then we select that. So we have been able to save our photo. It's saving. Okay, just give it a moment. Here it's still reading. Good, it has saved. So when we try to open this photo, I don't know where it is. Let me check it out. Yeah, now if you observe it well, you can see this photo, it has no background, but when we open it using a photo viewer, it will come like it has a background. Now the reason why we were brushing, you remember last time we were brushing the hair, you can even see even those small particles of the hair have come. But if you don't do that brushing part of it, it will come as like a straight cutting, and so we can go ahead and use this in Illustrator poster or graphics design. Now it will come without the background. So let me try to open Illustrator and show you now that it has no background, so you can freely use it in designing anything that you want using Illustrator. And also another beautiful thing is, instead of taking it to Illustrator, you could have just also stayed and done your poster or whatever design you are making. You could also do it from Photoshop, but I don't advise you to design a vector graphic using a raster graphics software. That is okay for amateurs. But when you're a serious person, someone like you, I don't advise you, or I wouldn't expect you to do that. So now I'm going to let me look for any document. I don't know whether I have some documents here. Let me check from the recent ones. All right, let me check this out. Let's check this out and see if we can get something like that, and we use it here. Okay, so let's just ignore for now. Now, assuming this was a book cover that I was designing. Okay, assuming we're looking for a photo to put on this book cover, so we just come and drag this photo. We take it to Illustrator and we put. Okay, it's taking too long. Good. So you can see it has no background, so we can transform. We scale it, let's say 90%. Then we just press Ctrl D to reduce it. Now you can see the photo has come without the background, so we can send it to the back. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, our photo has come without any trouble, without the background, so we can use it in any design that we want because it has no background. Very simple, and that is what I wanted us to do today. So I said there were two methods, so that's the first method. Did I say two? There are three methods. So let's go ahead and close Illustrator. We are not interested in Illustrator tonight, so let's go back to Photoshop. We are still on Adobe Photoshop. So back onto Photoshop. That was way one. Method number two, I'm going to go back to original photo. Yeah, this is the original. This window here, sorry, what you see up here, this is the history button. When you click on history, you'll be able to go back to where you were. So when you click the latest one, it will take you to the latest one, but this is the first one was here. So I want to go back to the first one. Now, in the first one, we had nothing. So let's go ahead and try to remove the background using the second method. The second method, instead of using quick selection tool, you can use what we call, okay, now we have a problem. It is not in this version. It's not in this version. It's supposed to be there. Okay. It's supposed to be there. It's supposed to be. I think it's only in the newer versions of Photoshop because I don't see it. There's what we call object selection tool. Actually, that one is simpler because it allows you to select the object instead of using the quick selection tool. But let me just check it out. You never know, it could be there. No, it's not there. It's not there. It's not there. Nope. Ladies and gentlemen, sorry about that, but I thought it would be there in CS6. But when you go to CC 2021, remember this is the latest version. 2021 it has just come out. Very expensive. But in 2021, you can select the background or select the object using what we call the object selection tool. Instead of selecting parts by parts, you just draw once and you're done, and you just correct the parts. But anyway, so means we are left with only two other methods. So the next method is background removal tool. So you come to, I think it's under what? Under clone stamp. Nope. This is interesting. Yes, this is it. It's under this one here. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th. The 11th tool, it's called the eraser tool. Under the eraser tool, you can click on all, then you go to background eraser tool. Now this background eraser tool also uses things like brushes, so you can also increase on the size of the brush. Now make sure your settings are okay. So the tolerance is to 50%. When this is what happens when you click, it removes the background just like that. So let's increase the size. I think that one is big. This is better. So you can see now what I'm doing. I'm straight away removing the background instead of. Now when you click at this point. It will mark that point, then it will remove any background which is of that color. So even if you brush, you have to make sure you don't click on this. Let me just do that and do that. Discontinuous. Yeah, it should be discontinuous. So what you do is you make sure when you click on that, you paint around. You don't go so deep. It will not touch the hair. Just make sure you don't go inside the person, inside the body of, because when we do this and we do around here, it will not affect. But if we do this and we come inside there, it will of course sense what we've done. So just try to do that. I don't usually love it so much because it's not very effective, but it works. Okay, you can just try to be precise. All you have to do is don't go so near. Of course, you can let the brush to touch the hair or the object, but you don't go so deep in the object so that it can do that. Let's try a tolerance of 100 and we see what happens. So 100 is too much. So let's try a tolerance of 0. You can see tolerance of 0 works best. So let's use something bigger. I'm going to undo some of these steps. Okay, I don't want that. So a tolerance of 31. So I think it's the best one. A tolerance of 31 is better. So okay, all you have to do is to paint around. So that's what we are doing. We're removing the background. Just direct removal. But this one, I think this one is harder than the other first method. So that's why most people don't prefer it. It's just so hectic. This one is good for correction. Assuming you've done the other first one and you realize there's some small background is not removed, you would use this one to correct. So you can see it's wasting a lot of time. Guys, I'm tired of this one here. So, okay, just bear with us. I'm going to do this quick. Ta 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 la la la. Okay, we're almost there. Just bear with us. So that's it. We are done. Okay, now we can go ahead and bring another layer. For example, if we wanted a background, we could just come and draw it there. And let's say we choose to use one of these colors. Sorry, as the fill color rather. So we can choose to use one of those ones, but we just make sure we bring it behind. So you can see. Now you see this one is not so effective. Wherever you see it's white, it means that background was not removed. So you can still use the background removal tool. After on this layer, you can use the background removal tool. Just paint over that. You'll see the yellow will be appearing. So that's basically how you can do this. This tool is not so effective, so I don't advise. You can see, you can compare the quality of this second one and the first one. You realize it's not so perfect. Okay, so that is it. There's something I was supposed to show but I forgot. Okay. All right, let's say we are back onto the other first one. Okay, and we are done with removing our background. Okay, sorry, selecting the object. We are not removing the background right now. Someone asked me the question, so I hope you're listening or watching this while you're attentive. Someone was asking how you can copy the object without the background. I've told you how to save the object without the background, but what if you don't want to save, you just want to copy? Now when you're here in Photoshop, you can do that. So all you have to do is after you've made your selection like this, you go back to the to the move tool, the first tool up. Once you bring it on this, you can see the cursor. It's showing the symbol of a pair of scissors. You can just come and click Ctrl C to copy. So you can now take it to another document and Ctrl V to paste. So it will ask you to convert the colors, blah 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 blah. Once you click OK, so you can see I've pasted the other first one onto the second one without the background. I didn't remove the background. I just selected the ones I wanted, then I Ctrl C, that's copy, and paste. So if you are designing a poster and you want many people to appear in it, that's how you do it. Just very simple, and do it from Photoshop. You can easily do that. Now remember, Illustrator, its artboard is open and free, so you can move your photo everywhere. but here it is limited. So those are some of the reasons why I wouldn't advise you to use Photoshop to do design for vector graphics. But basically, this is what you can do when it comes to selection tools. So today we were just so much into the quick selection tool and the selection tool itself, and basically that's what I wanted us to pick from here. And I believe that we have got something, and we can use it for our learning, and we can now go ahead and perfect our skills of vector graphics. You can go ahead and start practicing now. There is no any poster that you cannot design right now, because now we know how to work on the photos and so on and so forth. And I'm informed this is supposed to be our last week of training, so I'm going to give you a lot of things this week to make sure we finish and we get done with this. So just bear with me. This week is going to be really so hectic. After this video, we're going to do a little bit more on photo editing, because you can see this photo is really so funny. It's just, but we may need to do some correction. So let us meet in the next video. Thank you so much. My name is Luke Davis from Agape Media. Have a blessed evening.